people. Oh, 2 people. Oh, look at that. See, we have now doubled our viewership. I appreciate the second person coming in. Again, having to repost all those links. I'm not even sure people know what they're clicking on at this point. Probably still clicking on the first one. And that's just not going to work. And they left. So I guess maybe I'll work on my makeup next time as well. And I totally just realized I had pushed the microphone out of the way. So I apologize if you couldn't even hear me the majority of the time. I didn't realize I'd pushed the mic out of the way while I was sorting out all that stuff. So it probably sounds much, much better now instead of an echo room. Again, things you don't think about when you're live versus just trying to have a conversation with someone. So, person's back. Could you hear? Okay. This microphone is really nice. I was very pleased with its thing so far, but usually I just realized that it was at arm's length over there as I tried to reorganize all of these cables and get the camera hooked up into a different option. So we're now going on 9 minutes. 3 people. Wow, look at that. We've now tripled our viewership. This is truly incredible. It's a momentous occasion. I'd like to thank all of you who have tuned in to this broadcast that will be on par with anything that ABC or NBC or Dateline or anything has produced to date. This is again, I can't say how much I appreciate those of you who do try and tune in to my babbling nonsense and trying to sort this out. Thank you very much, FF Designs. That just shows up at your Google profile. So hopefully you're a TUG member, and but I'll call you that until I get a better name there. But again, I can't thank you guys enough for tuning into this stuff, and I certainly apologize that 30 minutes, 40 minutes or so ago that we were having issues, and it's really depressing. This is the first time I had a good number of people show up to try and listen, and I can't even get couldn't even get the camera to work. But 10 minutes in, now we're up to 5. Well, I mean, if there's 5 people listening, and if 5 people of you have 5 of you have taken your time to click and listen to me, then I'm going to go ahead and give you the entertainment that you so truly deserve. And thanks for tuning in. So we'll go ahead and do what we were going to do to begin with. And again, for those of you that tuned in for the first few minutes, the last one was probably a bit of a repeat, since this will be the video that'll be published. Again, I wanted to point out that I'll give you guys some membership, since you guys decided to show up and stick around for 40 minutes to listen to me babble and try and work through this. You guys deserve something. So yeah, me too, Billy. Thank you so much. I'm glad I got it fixed. And again, to tell everybody what it was, I was just searching the issue on YouTube, and someone said he just plugged it into a different USB port on his computer and it worked fine. And sure enough, that's exactly what's happening here. I'm not sure why the USB port is plugged into would I've never heard of a USB port not working like that, but there's weirder things in the world than that, and this fixed the problem. And so we are off and rolling. Again, to reiterate what we started the last time, since most of you, for those of you that didn't chime in, is we wanted to celebrate this is the 30th anniversary of TUG. In October of 1993, TUG started as just a group of timeshare owners on a Prodigy message board. And I don't know how many of you guys remember 1993 in computers. I personally was still in high school, graduating as of that year, but Google didn't exist. There's just, you didn't have the ability to log in to search stuff like that like you do now, and it was a much different time then. So it's really truly incredible that a group of timeshare owners was able to get together on a bulletin board. That's why still the TUG BBS is called what it is today, as that's how it all started back there in October of 1993, and had those core members. My father organized this into what has become TUG as we know it today, and it's absolutely humbling for me to be able to carry this on and maintain TUG, and continue to provide to this day as a resource for timeshare owners who are looking for help, advice, whether it be to buy, sell, rent, exchange, whatever. But for owners to be able to share information with other owners, is I firmly believe that is what my father and that small group of owners was trying to do back in 1993. And 30 years later, that's still going on, that an owner can search on the internet, find TUG, and find the information that they're looking for, without being inundated with the nonsense that surrounds this industry. So I can't begin to estimate how many owners have benefited from TUG over the years, but I imagine it's a fairly significant number, and just about everyone who finds TUG is very appreciative and is certainly thankful for the information that they are given, especially information that's shared from other owners. And that is truly something very unique in the world, and the fact that this community has thrived and established what it has for 30 years now is absolutely mind blowing when you think about it. And I plan on keeping it going for as long as I'm able to. And very happy and proud to carry on what my father started so very long ago. So uh, with that, this is 30 years. I mean, that's a big deal. So we're gonna have a lot of giveaways this month. I'm gonna give away a lot of memberships. I've been slacking on both the Facebook giveaways as well as the YouTube subscriber giveaways. Everybody, I'm still gonna give those away. So I think we're two or four behind on each one. So there'll be four memberships there. I'm going to try and give away. I haven't come up with a number yet, but it'll be a lot. I'm going to get a lot of free memberships for participation on the forums. So for those of you that give out on the forums, I'm going to give away stuff on Facebook and give away for YouTube subscribers. I will post it in the newsletters when we announce those giveaways, and it'll something that'll happen throughout the month. As I mentioned, so the last thing I mentioned in the previous stream is that I cannot thank enough the people that support TUG on social media and on the internet, and the people that make TUG what it is. It's certainly not me, and it's the community itself that attracts other owners, that gives the information to other owners, and that truly provides that unique experience that timeshare owners are looking for, and in terms of getting help, not from a salesman or not from an upfront fee exit company, or not from someone that is just trying to rip them off for money, but to actually find a community of other owners just like themselves that probably had that exact same experience they did oh so very long ago in buying a timeshare, or in a moment of weakness at a sales presentation, and feeling like you just made a horrible mistake, and to be able to find a group of people that not only relate to that but probably share your exact same story is you guys are the people that make TUG what it is, and I certainly want to celebrate the 30 years by giving a bunch of free memberships back. Is if those people, if I can keep those people around, and I want to reward them for everything they do to share TUG on the internet, and provide other owners with the information they need to find TUG. I see so many members that will post links to TUG on various Facebook groups, or support TUG, on stuff that I don't even visit. I get all the time. Hey, I read about this, and in a group I was in, or something like that. So there's no way I can get every single person that promotes TUG on social media, or on the internet in any way, shape, or form. But I'm going to do my best to give a lot of free memberships out to those people that are active in the community, and that have been active in the community for quite some time, as well as people that that just recently found us. So it's not going to be limited to just existing members, but I'm going to come up with something really special to celebrate this 30 years. So keep an eye on the forums and the newsletters, as I'll announce that, and certainly going to give back to those people that make TUG what it is today. And again, up to fantastic. There's seven. You now, we are now setting records for live streaming here. The live streaming on a Sunday night. I'm going to go ahead and call it now that this is the most active live stream for time sharing on a Sunday night, at least Sunday, October 1st, 2023. Anyway, so. Next thing to talk about that I'm very proud of is the marketplace has reached $66 million in completed timeshare resales and rentals. Just the past 3 years, we have just seen an incremental increase in the success of people selling and renting their timeshare in the marketplace. The marketplace continues to grow in both traffic and both ads posted and successful resales and rentals. And we're on pace again here in 2023 to break another record that we had there in 2022 and previously in 2021. So 66 million. Again, all without having to pay large upfront fees and absolutely zero commissions. We don't make a dime when you sell your timeshare or when you rent your timeshare. We are just happy to provide a community and a resource where owners can do that safely and without being ripped off. So that is how TUG was founded. That's how TUG's been run for 30 years, and that's how TUG is going to be run as long as I'm in charge. Now, 8 people. Look at that. We've just beat our previous record of 7, which is we'll just continue to improve. See, TUG just gets better and better every moment. So thank you again for those of you who are tuning in. I certainly appreciate it, and you're welcome to type questions in chat. I'm try to keep this as interactive as possible. And as we go on, but again, I'm truly humbled that this many people are willing to spend a Sunday night looking at this and listening to me ramble about timeshares, which is an up to 9. This is absolutely amazing. I think this is the largest number of people that have tuned in so far. So it seems like Sunday night is very, very popular. And if I can get this many people to chime in, and after the technical difficulties we had at 8:30, now an hour later, no, up to 10, this is that we are making history here, folks. And I appreciate you coming along for the ride. And hopefully you can detect my dry sarcasm. So not that I'm not excited, but I will say that I am I am truly surprised at 10 people chiming in, to tuning in to listen to me. Word is getting out. Absolutely. So I'm hoping. Oh, we lost one. I guess I was too sarcastic and too enthusiastic about our chit chat there. But again, say half a dozen people willing to listen to me. I'm happy to make these. I enjoy it. And again, I am still going to give away free memberships, and give away some just for those of you here on the live stream. So if you stick in here, I'll give away some stuff, and reward you guys again for tuning in, and or maybe sort of like a penance for having to listen to me and ramble on about this. So back to our 66 million. Again, truly amazing that we still continue to get the success that we have. There are many places you can go on the internet to sell or rent your timeshare, but we like to think Timeshare Users Group provides the average owner the best choice, and certainly the best value to do that. And if you're looking to just give away your timeshare, we're going to talk about that in a little bit, but we provide free options for that, so you don't even have to pay. Uh, so one of the big topics we've had on the forums recently is coming up with individual stickies for rescinding a timeshare. I'd say that I'm always happy when someone new registers on the forum, and it's clear that they just recently bought a timeshare. How they found TUG, searching on the internet, or told by someone or something, but they're still in their rescission period, or just bought it recently, just got home from vacation, and they're actually looking to uh, hey, did I make a mistake? How do I cancel this? And yes, we all know, all of us are old salts that have been here a while. Know it's in the contract, and no, you just need to write the letter and send it and follow the directions. But if you remember back to when you bought, you probably haven't read that full contract, and it's not like those contracts are just 1 or 2 pages. And so to find that, and you're all nervous and afraid that you just made a really big mistake, which you did, but and sometimes you just need a little help. And so again, finding the TUG community is just a huge weight off people's shoulders, because they're finding people that know exactly what they were going through and know the information that they need to pass that along. And it seemed like a good idea to me to create stickies for each one of the timeshare industries on. Here's what you need to do to cancel. Here's what you need to do to rescind your timeshare. The downside of that is we don't want to put the sticking point was putting an address in there, because we wouldn't want that address to change, or someone to get the wrong address and then send the letter to the wrong place, or to have worse, to have the resort claim that, hey, this isn't the address you need to send it to, and somehow TUG would be complicit. I'm not really concerned so much about legally complicit, but I would personally feel awful if someone got information on TUG that turned out to be incorrect, and they tried to cancel their timeshare, and for whatever reason, it didn't work out, or it wasn't accepted because of the wrong data. Now, I don't really see, if push came to shove, I doubt a timeshare system, maybe Westgate would, but I doubt most timeshare systems would, try and push back and go on that technicality of, oh, you tried to rescind, you just sent it to one number off the address or something, or we recently changed that address and you sent it to an old address. I think again, when push came to shove, and if you tried to make a stink about it, you'd still qualify for your rescission, because you did make the effort, you did express your right to rescind, and I think in the eyes of the law, if you went that far, that would be acceptable. But I hope to work with other owners to come up with, here's a checklist of what you need to do to cancel a Westgate timeshare. Here's what you need to do to cancel a Marriott timeshare. Here's what you need to do to cancel a Blue Green timeshare, and have those as stickies in each of the each of the community forums on TUG, so that someone gets there and finds it, you can see that right at the top of the page, and get that information, or at least get a basic outline of what you need to do. It'll let you calm down, let you breathe a little bit, let you not freak out in terms of you made this huge mistake and you're stuck with it. That you still have options, and even if you may be outside your rescission period by 1 or 2 days, to still follow through and try that, because we've seen it in situations where the letter showed up a couple days too late, or you sent it a couple days too late, but the companies would still let you out. Again, they're not obligated to, because you missed that period, but again, at the cost of a stamp or a cost of a letter. It's certainly worth trying. So keep an eye out for those. We'll start. I'm working with individuals in each of the forums to create that. Appreciate Jeremy with the idea of doing that. There is one already in the Wyndham forum that someone created a long time ago that kind of sparked this idea. And I think it would be something that would benefit the timeshare industry, the timeshare community of owners greatly to have, a place that each individual system someone can go and find, a template or an outline of exactly what you need to do step by step to cancel a timeshare, despite just read the details of your contract and follow the directions, which again is the correct advice, but that's in many cases someone probably didn't read that at first, or we've had cases where people have lost their contract, or in the case of Westgate where it's on a CD and they can't read it. There are all sorts of examples that we can cite, even in recent history on TUG, where people otherwise don't have that information. And so to provide them with some options to just get a letter out, even if it's not the correct one, and then a couple days later you find, your contractor, you find the correct information to send out, that you can do that. But you're kind of covering your bases, and I'm hoping that will turn out to be a very, very valuable part, or a very, very popular posts on the forums that will get more and more people to find it, because when you get stuff like that, it becomes popular. When people search that, hey, I just bought a blue green timeshare, how do I cancel it, feeling buyer's remorse. So to be able to find that thread directly, and then find an entire forum full of wonderful other owners who are willing to help you and walk you through that very, very uncomfortable time that I'm sure many of you remember, they were in that situation. That will be a very, very big boon for anyone looking to exit a newly purchased timeshare. As for my biggest pet peeve, that of the past couple weeks, it's been resort deedback programs. I keep coming into this, and I had a conversation with someone I consider a friend. I won't mention his name, out of respect, because we just kind of had that relationship. But someone rather high up in the industry, and we had a conversation about resort deedback programs. A couple years ago, I want to say 2017, 2018, the industry kind of came out with this whole responsible exit thing, and where it was touted as all of these major developers getting together to establish an exit path for owners, meaning they realized that at that time it was the timeshare exit industry, timeshare cancellation companies were the owners didn't really have hadn't in quite some time, but it was getting up to a ball where owners were just kind of stuck in many systems that didn't have any reasonable resale value. It would be tough to give them away for $1, and many developers just told them to go pound sand. Go, hey, you want to get out of your timeshare? Best of luck. Go try and sell it. Here's some upfront fee resale companies you can go to deal with. And they certainly didn't tell them about TUG, and they certainly didn't tell them about any other legitimate sites that they could have gone to get help. They basically just left them to their own devices. And it's no surprise that the vast majority of those owners, when searching the internet on something like that, fell victim to either upfront fee resale scams or upfront fee exit companies. And when this responsible exit program came out, I was all in, because I saw, deedback programs. I saw what was pitched to me as the industry coming together, and they may not all have been perfect at the time, but it was touted as, this is the future. This is the industry is now creating a valid, a viable exit path for owners with with unsellable or unwanted timeshares. It comes at a point when every owner's life, when it's time to sell. I realize the industry would love for these people to pass their timeshares on to their kids, and that's just unrealistic in many cases. Kids don't want stuff like that in most cases, but there comes a point in every timeshare owner's life when it's time to end that ownership. And that was this responsible exit program, where it had all of the major players in it: Marriott, Hilton, the Sheraton, Westin, Vistana, Blue Green. You can even look at it today and just see all of the major players sitting on that page, touting that, hey, you need to exit. Here's a way to do it officially through the resort. You weren't going with a third party; you were dealing directly with the resort. And some of them again left some. The programs left a lot to be desired. Let's go with that. There are many systems, Diamond, for example, that excluded a huge portion of all the resale buyers, wouldn't let them qualify for their exit program. And then other systems, kind of developed into more selective takebacks, where they were only going to let you surrender if you had something that was valuable, which is ridiculous because those people would just sell those timeshares anyway on the open market and not have to worry about deedbacks. And now, unfortunately, it's just, and I will give credit where credit is due. Wyndham from the start has been the only one I can think of that had a carte blanche free give back program. Meaning, if you have an paid off Wyndham timeshare, you back then could give it away for free, give it back to Wyndham for free. And today, yeah, you can still give it back to Wyndham for free. And unfortunately, they're the only ones I can think of that still have that rule set. But when I look at the responsible exit page, I see more and more just crap, for lack of a better term. I can't say it any better than that. I see an industry touting exit solutions for owners, and the vast majority, but the majority of the ones on the industry page don't actually provide exit solutions to their owners. We see it recently. I was actually shocked to see Hilton has recently kind of scaled back on what they would take back, and seems to have fallen back into a selective deed back or surrender program, where they're taking back obviously valuable things that they can put back in the points pool, but for the average owner that has a mud week at Hilton, or an average week at Hilton, they're basically saying that, hey, here's a couple resale brokers you can go talk to try and sell it for you, which is just absurd, knowing that some of these weeks are, while not worthless, just have no resale value, which means a legitimate broker is not likely to be very attractive by that sort of customer coming to them, because they know it's only worth a dollar. Legitimate brokers know it'd be lucky to be give it away. Though that owner will be lucky to give it away on the resale market. So, it's again, it's just kind of like telling the owner, yeah, best of luck. Well, we can't help you. I know we advertise a surrender program, but it's not really, it's not for you. And so best of luck in trying to figure out how to get rid of your timeshare. So I just see more and more of those systems that fall into that category. Blue Green is another great example. Blue Green and Westgate have recently started charging, just to have kind of adopted the model of the timeshare exit company, where they're just now charging a very, very large sum of money for you to get your timeshare back, which is likely some sort of multiple uh, of your maintenance fees, upwards of $2,000, $2,500 that we've heard from some of these. And I'm not so much against that. I'm obviously, it sucks, and in terms of an actual realistic solution, but that is a better solution than nothing. When people will be, people have shown, this industry has shown that owners are willing to pay a ridiculous amount of money to be out of their timeshare. There is just no arguing that. And so I'm not saying it surprises me that some of the resale companies, or excuse me, some of the developers have adopted that model in terms of now charging, exorbitant fees to allow people to surrender their ownerships back. At least it is an option. It's not a palatable option, but it is an option that keeps you out of the teeth of the scammers that litter this industry. So, giving you a not so good option is better than giving you no option at all. So I look at that as a much better solution than an example we saw earlier, where Exploria would basically just told an owner who wanted to get out that, hey, we don't have a surrender program for you, but here, you can go use this quote unquote trusted resale broker to market your timeshare and get it sold. And everything in the correspondence directly from Exploria, and made it sound like that, hey, this is someone we work with regularly, that regularly is able to sell timeshares like yours, or timeshares in our system. And then you go look at it, and it's an upfront fee exit company. Excuse me, an upfront fee resale company. A company is going to charge $499, $599 to an owner to quote unquote list their timeshare on their website, to market their timeshare for an unreasonable price, a price that they're never going to get. Now, Exploria knew full well that that person who contacted them had a worthless timeshare. Otherwise, they would have taken it back. They knew full well that the company that they are now referring these people to charges a large upfront fee, because they've been around for a while. It's not a newer fly by night company, and they likely knew full well that that company was going to somehow indicate to that owner that they would get a significant amount of money for their timeshare. I think the quote in that particular one was $2,000 is what their timeshare was listed for on their site, and so it is abhorrent to me. It makes me sick to my stomach that owners are subjected to that because that very owner was like, oh, well, my resort recommended this to me. They said they are a trusted reseller. And so I paid them to list my timeshare. And here a year later, I still have it, which is of no surprise to anyone that an upfront fee resale company was unsuccessful in selling a timeshare for an overly inflated price. But when I think about the scale of how many owners have reached out to Exploria to ask for help to get out of their timeshare, and how many of those emails have been sent back that said, "Hey, sorry, we don't have an exit program, but here, go to this trusted reseller," and how many times have those owners paid hundreds of dollars to said company to have their timeshare listed at a price that it will just never sell for, and that in this industry uh, is stuff like that is just it's just so this industry is just so utterly ugly at how it exploits its owners. You're exploited when you buy the timeshare. You're exploited when you try to sell the timeshare, and it all relies if not deliberate misconception or outright lie. And I've never encountered an industry that is able to get away with the tactics that are used so effectively in this industry and on both sides, both in the new retail sale side and then the exit resale side. It is mind blowing, and I've just I'm thankful every day the people that find Tug and are able to avoid stuff like that. But I also the stuff like that keeps me up at night when you realize a company the size, a major timeshare developer. They're obviously Exploria has a lot of resorts, and then other similar emails and similar comments have been made of other major developers. But when you think that is the official response, when you think that is the official response of a timeshare developer, when one of their customers who's been a happy owner for years, if not decades, and a paid off timeshare reaches out and say, hey, I would like to give this back. I need to exit this. I can't own this anymore. I can't travel. Or can't visit, can't utilize my ownership anymore. That is the sort of answer that they give back, to that owner, and response is to not only say that, hey, we don't have a deedback program, but then legitimately promote an upfront fee resale company, knowing that is not going to not only is not going to result in any help whatsoever to that particular owner, but it's going to cost them $500 just right off the bat. And that stuff like that it grinds my gears. I can't express and to keep this a nice, happy, healthy PG-13 stream. I cannot express how much that pisses me off. And so when I see other developers in this quote unquote responsible exit scheme, responsible, I don't want to call that a responsible exit program that they all tout as, this is the industry coming together to provide solutions. If that's the sort of solutions that they're providing, owners just don't stand a chance. And I said, as I mentioned in the conversation that I had with a friend of mine, is this is what the average timeshare owner experiences. This is what your mother would experience if she were a timeshare owner and were left to her own devices, or left if she reached out. This is what the average timeshare owner can expect when it's time to sell or otherwise exit their timeshare. The odds are they're going to get scammed. It's just that has what the industry has turned into today. And I don't know how to put it any better than that. And it's why I went on my rant recently about, if that is the answer that Exploria is giving to its owners, then I would 100% expect those owners to start defaulting on their Exploria timeshares. You can't sell it. You can't give it, or it's difficult to give it away, and you're not willing to take it back. And not only that, but you're telling your owners to go use this quote unquote trusted company that is an upfront fee resale company. To hell with Exploria. For owners that are in that situation, that walking away is the correct answer at that point. It is the least bad of a bunch of bad options. And when you're presented an owner with a bunch of bad options, they're likely going to pick the least bad of those. And I you can't believe that me being at Tug, I was such a, when this all started, I just can't believe that it's come so far that here I am on air, in print, in our newsletters and on telling owners that it's, okay to default in some cases, that is actually the best option for you. You should probably do that. It is certainly a better option than paying for the rest of your life for something that you can't use when you can't give it back. The resort doesn't want it back, and you can't give it away. It is incredible to me that that is just the state of the industry today. And I realize that I'm using some pretty extreme examples, but again, going back to the point that this is what a timeshare owner, an average timeshare owner with an average week, is going to experience. And it is just very, very frustrating that the industry has devolved into that. And it's no surprise that timeshare resale companies and our upfront free resale companies and timeshare exit companies are making money hand over fist to exploit this problem. The industry is certainly doing nothing to combat it. The industry certainly seems to be moving away from that responsible exit dream of having all of or at least the majority of the developers providing a legitimate exit path for an owner who doesn't want to own anymore. And I mean, I just can't fault an owner in that situation for defaulting. I see what I did there. I just don't find that as an unpalatable solution. It sucks for the remaining owners of the resort because defaults go up. That means the rest of the owners are stuck with paying the maintenance fees. But that is just the nature of the beast at this point. You can't expect an 80-year-old grandmother who hasn't traveled to the resort in 10 years and can't physically do that, who has reached out to the resort and gotten no help, who has tried to give it away and it's gotten no help, and has probably paid XYZ company $500 or $1,000 to quote unquote market it for them and gotten no help there. You can't expect her to pay it until she's on her deathbed and then go after her estate for unpaid maintenance fees. That is a far worse solution than people defaulting in that case. And so I'll get off my soapbox. It looks like we got a couple comments, so we'll address them. Your post about the amount of effort that owners put into trying to sell their timeshares makes sense, and why resorts do very little support. That's true. There are. I'm not going to argue that there aren't. We're talking about percentages of owners, and there's certainly a healthy percentage of owners who are in the category of I don't want to own my timeshare anymore. I bought it a little bit ago and probably don't like it, and I just don't want to pay for it. And then we talk about the owners who physically shouldn't own their timeshare anymore. The elderly, the someone who's been a happy owner for years. It's paid off. It's just time. Don't use it anymore. Don't go to Cape Cod. Don't go to Disney. Haven't in years. This timeshare is no longer for me. I no longer. I am no longer. I should no longer be an owner of that. And those are two very, very different categories of people, in my opinion. And so providing, I guess the industry just loops every owner into the same category, but it's just no real surprise to me that the cheap and not so much cheap, the easy solution, which is when I type on the internet how to get out of my timeshare or how to get rid of my timeshare or something like that, that the first dozen responses are upfront fee scams, and that's just how the industry is. I heard a quote the other day of someone talking about one of the very large exit companies. Their marketing budget is $100,000 a month. You just think about that for a second. $100,000 a month in advertising and Google ads, just paying for clicks. And when you realize that just one successful click results in $4,000, $5,000, and you realize how they can pay that much for that. But that is just a mind-blowing amount of money being thrown at timeshare owners. And that's why those are at the top of all the search results. They don't have to have good flashy websites. They don't have to create content because Google now allows you, and Bing and all of the almost all search engines now allow you to buy your way to the top. I don't know the last time you looked closely at a Google search or a Bing search, but the quote unquote sponsored results, I think they call it now. Show up at the very top. Those are ads. Those are not organic listings. Those are not websites that are on there because of their content. They're because that they have paid an exorbitant amount of money to be at the top of that keyword that you typed in. And it's just making money hand over fist, again, because of this problem that the industry seems perfectly okay to ignore. And not that they've put a whole lot of focus into the resale market or the how to exit a timeshare for an owner. The responsible exit thing in 2018 looked like it was the beginning of the end for upfront fee resale companies and or exit companies, and unfortunately, it's just evolved into to crap, for lack of a better term. And it's certainly much worse for owners trying to get out of their timeshares now than it was when it started, and that's very, very disappointing for me to say. Yeah, I was curious what drove you to recommend walking away from timeshares. No, 100%. That was something that tore me up for a while. And The emails that I get, and the messages on Facebook and the phone calls we get dealing with people who are in these situations, it's just not a small percentage. And I will like to say that, and I always like to express that, while while I may, saying that defaulting is not the worst option, and in many cases is the option for you, I always back that up with as a last resort, meaning you have tried to give it away. You have tried to give it back. You have tried to even offer to pay, closing costs and a year's worth of maintenance fees. That you have made every effort, or at least a realistic effort, to find another owner for this timeshare. And you have struck out on all fronts. The resort is offering no help. The resale market or TUG are offering no help. At that point, you have to make a very, very tough decision between continuing to pay for something, which you're obligated to do. I'm not going to argue that. You signed a contract, and technically that contract is for life. But the bankruptcy exists, and not that I would suggest that for a timeshare, but there are situations in people's finances. I don't like to put myself in people's shoes, but there are situations where uh, you know that is the best option for you. It is financially, it's fiscally irresponsible to throw thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars into something that you don't use, whether it's a car, whether it's a loan, whether it's a real estate purchase, whether it's timeshare. And walking away from that is an option. I've always expressed that it is the only 100% guaranteed solution to get out of your timeshare is defaulting. And that is the solution that exit companies use. So it is being done either intentionally or unintentionally by thousands of timeshare owners. And for me to tell someone, for example, the example that I used for the email, the Explorer, that person, she hadn't used her timeshare in years. She was a happy owner for many, many years. It was long since paid off. Her husband had passed away, I want to say, and she had reached out to the resort, and that was the email they got. When that is the email you get from your resort is, "Hey, sorry, we can't help you take it. We're not going to take it back, but here's this upfront fee, resale company. You should they're trusted. You should go to them." I had no problem whatsoever telling that lady that she should seriously consider defaulting on her timeshare if it didn't pan out. Now she came back to TUG, or she became on TUG and joined and posted her timeshare for free and offered to pay closing costs. So I'm hoping that will that will result in her finding a new owner without having to default. But when push comes to shove, those are two really terrible options. I'm not going to sugarcoat it in any other way. And while I'm not going to say that for your situation or for every situation the default is the answer, there are absolutely situations where default is the better answer than paying for the rest of your life, especially people with fixed income or Social Security or lost a spouse or have medical issues and stuff like that. People are. I get people all the time that are afraid. Well, they're going to take my house, or they're going to take my car, or they're going to garnish my wages, and the risk of that is so infinitesimally small, although not zero. For people that are suffering because they're afraid of something like that is asinine, especially if they have made every effort to dispose of it in a way that works out for both the owner, the resort itself, the existing owners at the resort, meaning giving it back, or finding some solution to surrender that or find a new owner in that regard, and struck out. That again, I can't tell each individual person what the correct answer is for them on what's better, defaulting or paying another decade's worth of maintenance fees until you die. But making that decision when it's presented in that front, it really opens people's eyes. It really, hey, I never thought about it that way, especially since I've been paying for the past few years. I hate the fact that I've gotten that pessimistic, or in terms of that outlook, maybe not pessimistic, but gotten, can't think of the term that I'm looking for to do that. The pivot tug, which was usually, promoting that there was a realistic option for you to give your timeshare back, when there was a realistic option for you to give your timeshare away, or try to give it away for free to find a new buyer. Unfortunately, the industry has just seemed to make it more and more difficult for owners to give their timeshares away or give them back. And this still seem to be relying on that sort of threat that hey, if you don't pay, you're going to be in big trouble, and we're going to come after you, and we're going to come after your kids. Just to scare people into continuing paying is just as bad as defaulting, in my opinion. That is pretty much our pivot, is seeing, due to the steady decline of or steady increase in owners who generally just don't have any realistic options, who don't have the ability to give it back. And there's just the stuff like that Exploria case, or who are just exploited for even more money. But that one just, oh god, that one just really gets to me. And I think of the people that don't send those emails to Tug or don't reach out because they trust their resort and they trust that they would never be given bad advice for something like that. And it's that is what's changed my mind, and that's what's changed my opinion. And again, uh, this is a much different cry than someone who, hey, I bought a timeshare last year. Me and my boyfriend or my husband went and we got roped into it, and I think we made a mistake, and I just don't want to pay anymore. That I don't, that's not what I'm talking about in defaulting. I'm talking, the different example where you are in a situation where your finances have changed, something important has changed, and you have gone through all the other options to try and otherwise find a new home for your timeshare, and have just struck out. That said, there are people out there that have huge loans that are stuck in those situations. You can't sell it, you can't give it back because you have this huge loan, and again, I in that case, I'm hesitant to tell someone to try and default on their timeshare. I'm hesitant to tell someone that, but it is an option. How much is your credit worth? 44. You spent $40,000 on a timeshare. There was one post the other day where someone said that they took out a $40,000 or $50,000 loan on something, and it was outside their rescission period, and they realized they made a mistake. Yeah, you made a mistake. Should it be a $50,000 mistake? Uh, you put yourself in those shoes. If you were that person and you miss out your rescission period by a couple days, would you, just pay $50,000 for that mistake, or would you genuinely consider seeking out, a bankruptcy attorney or debt collector? I mean, $50,000 or $30,000. That's not a small chunk of change, especially in this day and age. It's every person's situation is different, and thus, me advising someone to default, I would never specifically advise someone to default without knowing all of the nuances and instances of that. And even in that case, I would have them advised. I would advise them to go seek out either a bankruptcy or debt collection attorney to find out what their risk is to them before making a decision to default. But to say that it's just a terrible option and not to be considered under any circumstances is just as bad as any other option out there. In terms of telling them to pay for the rest of their lives, just because they signed a contract. And just missed their rescission period. I firmly believe that rescission period should be until either your first use, meaning you go and buy it, and if you don't, the next year your first use, you should be able to do the research and possibly cancel. If you haven't used it yet, you should be able to cancel even if there's a penalty involved, or maybe have some sort of staggered penalty for rescission, meaning you rescind that in the first 15 days or first 10 days, you get everything back. You rescind in the first 6 months, you get 90% back, something like that. There's got to be a way that the industry can still profit on that nonsense of someone not doing their proper research, than just having them stuck with that, and it just ruins their entire it sours their mouth on the entire industry, because that salesman misled them and cost them an exorbitant amount of money, and they just didn't find that out in time to be able to rectify that mistake. So that's a whole nother ball of wax. When looking to rent out a timeshare, what are the most important questions to ask the resort or management company? That's a great question. That's something that's been discussed on the forums. It just seems like the more and more developers are starting to, uh, you know, go after renters, for lack of a better term. Now, I will say that the focus seems to be on people that are renting, multiple reservations, meaning average timeshare owner, renting out their unused unit that year, or maybe they use their reservation and then they rent it out a separate one. It's probably not going to draw the ire of most developers, but there has been a significant focus from many major developers on what the term they utilize is mega renters or commercial renters, people that are actively no, I don't want to say exploiting, because that's a terrible term. They're actively using their ownership, not so much for personal use, but to rent out reservations to other people. And there are obviously people on one end that rent out dozens and dozens of reservations every year. And then there are others that, probably don't go quite to that scale. But the downside and the argument is that me as an owner, I'm working out of the same pool of points and the same pool of reservations as everyone else. And if there's a person that has millions of points, or depending on what system you're in, has a very, very large number of points that they've bought at the highest level of ownership, or they're logging in at exactly midnight, or 9 p.m., or whatever, when the booking window opens for 12 or 13 months, or 9 months, or depending on the system you're in, and making not just the reservation that they're looking for personally, but reserving Thanksgiving week, but reserving spring break, but reserving Christmas, all of the big travel weeks, the nicest rooms, basically taking up the inventory, not for the purpose of use, but for the purpose of profiting commercially. And I don't personally have an issue with that, and so to speak. And that's how the system is played. And the issue I have with it is the owners that would otherwise have access to those high demand weeks that try and log in either day later or a month later, or however long ago, and there's just nothing there. And then they go to try and make that reservation. It's not available through the system, but why do I see it available for rent on Tug, or why do I see it available for rent on eBay? That is where the problem exists. And I don't envy the people that have to decide at the Wyndhams and the Marriotts and stuff, to how you determine when someone is stepping over the line. Many owners were sold their timeshares with, hey, you can, if you're not going to use it, you can rent it out, or you can buy this level of ownership and you can stay 1 week and you can rent another week to cover your maintenance fees. So it's extremely common that that's how that timeshare was sold. And how do you blame an owner for essentially, maximizing their effort to do what they were sold to begin with? So I empathize with the renters, but I empathize with the owners who obviously had no idea about renting, and had no idea what a mega renter is, or commercial renters had no idea that they were going to be competing to reserve those same weeks, within these exchange systems and these pools, knowing that the best stuff is taken out almost immediately by not owners who are looking to use, but owners who are looking to rent. So I don't know, for those of you on debate team in high school, this would be a crazy one, because depending on what side you want to take, you have valid arguments. If you want to take the mega renter side, it's, hey, this is what you sold me. You told me I could do this. You sold this to me as a perk of ownership. So now you're telling me that just because I've gotten good at it, and now I'm able to not only pay for my own maintenance fees, which you told me I could do, but now I can actually make money off this. You created this monster, so how are you mad at me? And I can also 100% argue with the other side. Where a regular owner is like, hey, you sold me X number of points. You told me I could make these reservations. And I'm just finding nothing. Not only am I not finding the reservations I'm looking for, but I can see them for rent on Airbnb, or I can see them for rent on Tug. How are these people able to constantly? How can I find this for rent, paying way more for it than my maintenance fees, but me as an owner can't reserve that week myself? So again, that debate is you would just go back and forth, button heads on who's right and who's wrong on that. It's just a situation where it's just obviously, at the end of the day, there are owners that are disenfranchised, not being able to reserve what they're looking for, and then you have a small number of owners who are simply just gaming the system, but doing it in a way, and that's how they were sold their ownership in the first place. So again, it just depends on what side of the fence you fall, how that argument kind of plays out. But to answer your question specifically, you that's a really good question, because this stuff seems to change on an almost monthly basis. You saw Marriott or Wyndham reduce the number of guest certificates that they give every year in an effort to combat that. They're clearly setting their limit on what we consider personal use versus what we consider commercial use. And I think it was Marriott that limited points transfers, although that's still a really high amount, relatively speaking. But you just kind of see, it's just kind of how that works. Just a little nudge here, a little change here, a little change there. And I don't really blame them for trying that, because they have to navigate down the center of that argument. Whereas you uh, because you make one decision, you make these people angry. You make another decision, you make those people angry. So, and again, there's just such good arguments on either side. There's no way someone could carte blanche and say, hey, you can't rent anymore. We're not going to allow you to rent your timeshare. It has to be personal use only. And and many of those, they know full well, even today, that their timeshare salespeople use that as an option to to incentivize purchase on the retail side. So It is definitely something one needs to research. What the rental guidelines are, what is considered commercial renting, or what they consider commercial renting, or what is the limit, or current limit versus. If again, if you are buying a timeshare and you're using it 1 or 2 times a year yourself, but you're making reservations 1 or 2 times in someone else's name, that's probably not going to draw the ire of any developer. But I'm sure there is a different sliding scale for each one based on how many reservations under your account are being used in your name, or how many are being used in someone else's name, or a guest name. And I'm sure someone smarter than me has come up with an algorithm in all those systems to flag certain accounts and identify those as commercial renters, or mega renters, and thus the hammer swings down gently at first. You're giving kind of a warning, and then it swings a bit more abruptly if you don't heed that warning and continue those antics. I don't have a again. I don't think TUG has a stance. I don't have a stance on which one's right and which one's wrong. I know if I was an individual owner in one of those resorts, I would hate mega renters just because they take away all the reservations that I'm looking to use myself personally. And then again, if I was a mega renter, I'd stand back and the thing is, hey, you sold this to me. I've been doing this for years. This is how you told me the system worked. I'm just doing what you told me I could do. So it's unfair of you to tell me that this is not correct when it's exactly why I bought my timeshare in the first place. So take that as you will, and I think that particular debate will carry on for many years on TUG and just about every other timeshare website out there. Um, uh, that's the thing that burns me most: going to a sales presentation, the rep showing off the red week check off to set. Yeah, no, again, it's effective sales tactics usually involve a healthy dose of horse crap. And then that sales rep probably knows full well that that there's probably a guideline somewhere on commercial renting and mega renters or something like that, and it's sold that way because it's an effective strategy. It's still pitched because you tell someone that, hey, you buy this level, you can use your 1 week and you can rent the second week and you break even. Doesn't cost you anything. Timeshare's free. That sounds great. Well, shoot, I can rent it easily, and then you show them, the TUG or Red Week stuff on there that shows that you can get that rental. That's just a no-brainer, and I don't see salesmen stopping that anytime at all, because again, it's just one of those things where you kind of skirt in the gray area. If you're selling this to this one person, yeah, they can probably rent. They can stay in 1 week and rent a separate week, and Marriott's not going to care, and Wyndham's probably not going to care. Flex that into he's able to rent. They're using 1 week and renting 10 weeks. That probably is crossed their line, and they're likely going to see some sort of action taken by that developer to warn against that behavior, and if not, then absolutely terminating the account or suspending the account, as we've seen a couple of recent members have experienced, where their accounts were suspended and their points were no longer available for use, and all because they were deemed commercial renters, or deemed renting out their more than they should have in terms of reservations. Uh, the saying "you can't do it," yeah, it's Wyndham, not just guest shifted, but also blackout dates. I just slowly see, more and more, just small little changes, just small little things here and there, where you're just making it a little more difficult for you to make a profit off renting. And you just see the writing on the wall. It's there is an active, you know crusade, across many major developers, and I would expect, almost all of them to adopt it eventually. It just has to be done in stages, and it's just kind of you nip away at a little bit at a time and a little bit at a time, so you're not, making big ripples, and just upsetting the apple cart, for lack of a better term. And hopefully they find some sort of equilibrium where they don't take renting away completely, but they establish some sort of guideline that works across all systems. Obviously, any sort of guideline you make on the Marriott side wouldn't work on the Wyndham side, and wouldn't work on the Hilton side, and so on and so forth. So each system has to navigate those waters into to determining where that happy medium exists. I don't think any of those major developers will outright ban renting, just because, just what we said before, it's so many owners were sold and still are today. You could probably walk into a presentation today and be pitched a timeshare that you could rent out your unused points, or something as a reason to buy more points. You shouldn't buy the intro package, because if you buy the next level, you can just use the intro package and then rent those points and break even. So I don't think renting will ever go away, but absolutely see continued pushback by the major developers in making efforts to curb commercial renting, and then to kind of to throttle that back, so that it's a win-win for the developers, because it uh, uh, eliminates the existing owners from seeing that nice inventory that people are looking for show up on Airbnbs and commercial sites, and it's almost people's biggest pet peeve. And it's the same way with exchanging. You can't see. I can't get anything for exchange. There's nothing available, nothing where I want to go. Obviously that's not due to rental stuff, but it's frustrating because now the exchange companies are offering rentals and last minute inventory, and it's very, very frustrating as an owner. One of the biggest complaints I always get is make I can't make this reservation through my system or through RCI or through II, but I can rent it from this third party, through whether it's Airbnb or Expedia or TUG or eBay or something like that. That's one of the biggest pet peeves I get from owners is I can never reserve what I'm looking for. I can never make the vacations that I was told I could make very, very easily, but I can rent them at much higher rates than my maintenance fees for those high demand weeks. And but that's something that the industry has fought with for quite some time. But no, I 100% agree, and 100% believe that more and more of these systems are slowly nipping away at commercial renting. And you see a lot of the Wyndham was a great example, where a lot of those really, really high number of point renters, multi-million point owners, starting to divest those ownerships, because they see the writing on the wall. They see that they're not going to be able to make 50, 60 some odd reservations a year with those points, and clear a hefty profit by taking the best stuff out of the exchange inventory, or excuse me, out of the inventory, and then offering it up commercially. So you're welcome, Stephen. I certainly appreciate you chiming in. And I want to, let's see what we can do here. How do I, since I would like to give away a couple memberships. There's 7 of you left online. I see Billy Mack. And so I'm trying to figure out how many of you are left online. If you could type into chat so that I can see how many of you are listening. Maybe somebody's in the bathroom. So run out of the bathroom and come type. And see, it's a Billy. Is even Billy? I don't know if Billy's still on. So Clara, Classy Clara, Diane. Oh, there we go, man. Can you type your? Well, I don't know. Whatever. It's chat. I'll see you in here. Can you type your TUG BBS form ID? And I will track this. And I see Billy. Yep, Billy. You don't have to type yours because I can. You got your name there. Clara, there you go. Moonstone, Clara J, Steven, do you have, I could probably go look up your membership if that's your name, but type in, I'll give everybody another few seconds to type in, and then I'll extend everybody's to membership, since you guys put up with me for an hour. Wow, hour and 5 minutes. I didn't even notice. I clearly have fixed the glitch with that. So yeah, if your webcam freezes in the future, plug it into a new USB port. So that's my TUG tech tip of the day. So Ron, type in your forum ID or your TUG login ID if you haven't registered on the forums. I'm gonna try and give some folks some extended memberships. Before I turn this on, any other questions anyone has? Again, I can't believe I've been babbling for an hour. So I appreciate it. FF Designs, perfect. Is that your forum login by chance? I can go look it up if so. Medic Man, awesome. I'm gonna keep track of this chat so that I can give some credits here. And going once, going twice, no other questions. So FF Designs, is that your? I can probably go look it up if I need to, but I don't need to keep you guys on here for that. So going once, going twice. So I got Billy, Diane, Clara, Ron. Give FF Designs, not a member. Okay, well, tell you what. What's the easiest way? Are you a member of the forum, or are you not a member of TUG? Just how valid do you think the assessments are? I think they're probably, you mean for the WorldMark stuff or the Marriott stuff? I mean, I was really surprised the WorldMark was at 5.8%, but it appears that their covenants are limit that. And that's the only reason why. Do you have Facebook, FF Designs? How'd you find us? I'm trying to figure out a way for you to get in touch with me so I can hook you up with a membership. What does my timeshare portfolio look like these days? Still a Marriott owner. Heritage Club at Harbortown. Can't recall the last time I've been there. Usually it exchanges really well in interval. Because it comes with a golf package and all that stuff. So it's a super popular trader. I personally haven't. I rent. Me personally. My father still takes a number of vacations. Uh, FF Designs. Are you on Facebook by chance? The Tug Facebook page, or I'm just trying to. I don't want you to type your email into the chat because that just seems like a terrible idea. I'm just trying to figure out. Send me an email at tugadmin@tug2.net. Can you send me that? I'll type my email in. I don't care if anyone knows mine. Tugadmin@tug2.net. There you go. Send me an email, FF Designs, and send me shortly or send it now so that I can look at it and verify, and we'll get you set up. So Capital Resorts are adding 380 for this year. Next year, is that just like a special assessment, or is that just a base maintenance fee increase going up? That's the first I've seen that for Capital Resorts. Marriott and Hilton Head, yes. The Heritage Club in Harbour Town is the Hilton Head. Yes. So holy smokes, that's pretty hefty. Yeah, that's. Oh, did you? Okay. I'll go back and look at that. Sorry, I don't have that page up at the moment, FF Designs, but I'll go respond to that just to remind me. And so when I get back to my desktop computer or my main work computer, I'll get that set up and I'll shoot you an email, get you taken care of. So, wow, yeah, 380. Man, I haven't seen that. I think everyone saw the writing on the wall in terms of maintenance fees. The prices of everything have gone up the last year and this year, from gas to eggs to to bologna to I just groceries. I mean, I can't believe how much it costs to feed my children at Zaxby's, which is a chicken place. I don't know if y'all have that where y'all are. Taco Bell is another great example. Not that I eat Taco Bell a lot, but I think we went last time and it was like $40 for just some 2 cheese quesadillas and some taco. Just absolutely blows my mind how much everything costs. So to see maintenance fees rise at these levels, it's shocking. It's jaw dropping. But I don't think that the resorts are making profit off of that, if that makes sense. Meaning, I don't think that 25% increase for the destination points or whatever that reported number was. I don't think that's going to add anything to the bottom line in terms of that. I genuinely, yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're 4 and 6 right now, and they pretty much live on fish sticks and mac and cheese and boogers. Our special assessment due November 23rd and 20. Wow, man. Did it list what it was for? Or was it just literally just added cost of everything going up, or was it delinquencies or something like that? It's really, I mean, when you look at it, you have to pay all your employees more, and every service costs more. Laundry costs more. Landscaping costs more. Painting costs more. Tax costs more. Property tax has gone up. So we're at you look at COVID and such that it just kind of started. Just everything has just gone through the roof. When paving asphalt costs 60% more than it did 3 years ago, and getting any sort of work done, roofing, tile work, plumbers, everyone is just, just basic stuff has all just gone up, in double digits. I can't think of when's the last time something was cheaper, this year than it was 2 years ago, whether you had a quote on anything or going to Home Depot, the prices of appliances. So when yeah, insurance, homeowners insurance, especially in Florida, is just it's car insurance. And my wife works for Brightway, so I hear this all the time, and she's constantly complaining to me about the work stuff and the cost increases of again, these companies, in my opinion, aren't padding their profits. They're the cost to rebuild a home now or to put a new roof on a home is absurd. The cost to fix a car, to buy a new fender, to get parts, new wheels and tires. When's the last time you priced tires? Holy smokes! Just everything costs so much more now, and just to live, cost 10-15% more than it did a few years ago. So it absolutely is no shock to me to see these maintenance fees rise. I expected it to be much higher last year, so it was a surprise to me that some look like they tried to perhaps weather the storm and not just outright make all their owners keel over. But this year, I mean, seeing not 10% but 20% increases. And now you mentioned 380. Two separate installments of 380 just this year, next year's 2 installments. So what is it? 165 for each, or 170. Brightway is our St. Augustine condo insurance company. Yeah, only a small increase this year. My homeowner's insurance didn't go up. We're through Brightway as well. Went up very, very little, but two of my friends almost doubled for no apparent reason. No claims, no nothing. It's just crazy. I totally expect ours to go up next year by the margins that everyone seems to be reporting. If they know for no upfront fee, are there any good timeshare exit companies out there? Well, that's a loaded question, because I'm not. There are no timeshare exit companies that don't offer no upfront fees. Now, I will say that many of them advertise no upfront fees, but they get around that by claiming that they keep your fee in escrow, meaning they try to get around. You're still paying money. You're just paying this to this quote unquote third party escrow company that is likely just another company in their same building. Yeah, I'm not aware of any exit company that works on contingency, meaning that they only get paid, or that you only have to shell out money after they're successful. I'm not aware of any of those companies that did that. But if one did happen to exist, and didn't have some sort of sneaky option there to put your money in escrow, meaning if you are asked to pay money to anyone, whether it's that company, a third party, whoever it is, that's the solution that exit companies provide, as I mentioned in our previous video, is default. There is not a magical, there's not a team of lawyers working in the back that file a lawsuit on your behalf when you engage an exit company. It just doesn't happen. There aren't Exit companies don't have court cases lined up going after timeshare developers. It just this isn't happening. It's made to seem like you're hiring a company to go to battle for you against your timeshare, when in actuality, you're a form letter is sent with that company's letterhead demanding you be let out of your timeshare, which is 0% effective, and thus the other option is when you're told to cease all communication with the resort, or stop responding to any correspondence, or stop responding to phone calls. Tell them that you've now represented quote unquote exit company, or you're now represented by this exit company, and they should call them to speak, and so on and so forth. And unfortunately, when you stop paying for your timeshare, then that results in you no longer being a timeshare owner. And yeah, congratulations, they successfully negotiated the exit of your timeshare. Unfortunately, you can stop paying on your own for free without having to engage any third party, or pay any money up front. So yes, one, I'm not aware of any exit company that works on contingency, meaning they only ask you to send them any money when after successfully getting you out of your timeshare. And two, I'm not aware of any solution that an exit company provides that you as a timeshare owner can't do yourself, either for free or for far, far less than than you could than the fee that they would charge you for said services. So it's a great question. It's one we get all the time. I think that almost on an almost daily basis is we get, hey, is there any exit company out there you recommend? So the Timeshare Legal LLC in New Jersey, that's what they told me. I'm not familiar with that one, although that Timeshare Legal LLC is, I mean, it's got all the buzzwords in it. So what could go wrong? Again, I have seen companies that claim on their website, no upfront fees, or you don't pay this and that and the other, but then they ask you to pay. But they ask you to pay an escrow company, or they ask you to pay some third party that will hold the money until such time as which your timeshare has been exited, and then of course they get paid in that regard. So again, there's no risk to you whatsoever if you're not paying a dime. I mean, if you want to engage someone that is absolutely not going to charge you until you're out of your timeshare, then no real risk there. But again, the strategies used by exit companies are the strategies you can do yourselves. You can have fun, asking those questions and see how they squirm in their responses. In terms of, hey, I don't want to default. So if that's one of your options, I don't want to engage your service. And it's just ask them those poignant questions. Again, all these exit companies do is draft letters to send to the timeshares to demand you be removed, or otherwise let out of your timeshare, or they engage the deedback program or department on your behalf, and they're something again you could do yourself for far less than they charge, or again they fall back on default and instructing you to no longer pay for your timeshare, ignore all the bills, ignore all the collections letters, ignore all or forward them all to quote unquote company. and it just you can do that on your own. And you'll get the same consequences that you would if you did that after paying someone thousands of dollars to do that on your behalf. So hopefully you did not. Yeah, again, I'm not familiar with that exact name. I've never heard that. Timeshare Travis got me out of a Wyndham free through Ovations. He didn't charge me anything. He wrote him a review that won't help my sister in her Westgate. Yeah. Well, again, I don't know what Timeshare Travis did to get you out of your timeshare, but you could have contacted Ovations yourself. Wyndham has had a free exit program for since 2017. That any owner can give them back to their timeshare. Give back an unwanted Wyndham timeshare as long as it's paid off for free, no questions asked, just by sending an email. Wrote him a review, but he won't help my sister in her Westgate. The other reason he won't help your sister in her Westgate is because Westgate has a very crappy deedback program. One, it's very selective, in which they don't take back all of the timeshares like Wyndham does. And two, it's very expensive. It's usually I think the last report we saw $2,000, $2,500, something in that regard, to give back a Westgate timeshare. Although I'm sure it varies based on what you're trying to give back. But by and large, your options for getting rid of a Westgate timeshare, if they outright refuse to take it back, or you don't want to pay that large fee, is to offer it up for free on TUG and offer to pay closing costs, or stop paying. Those are the same options you have with any exit company. So yes, I've seen a number of people that on Facebook. You're welcome. I'm glad you help, and I would urge your sister to contact the Westgate Deedback Department, and I'll also say that I would encourage your sister to be a very squeaky wheel. That's the one thing that's really kind of the Achilles heel of the timeshare developer is constant posts and emails and updates on social media, especially social media. Asking, hey, just went out of my timeshare. How do I do that? They don't want potential customers to see how difficult it is to get rid of a timeshare. And so in doing that, they're hoping that you ask once and they say no and you never ask again. Essentially, because that's a win-win for them, because not only are they refused you and you just kind of accepted it, but you're probably going to pay next year's maintenance fees, which is the goal. So sometimes you just have to get a bit more aggressive. And so I will say that the more aggressive you are, the better chance you have of negotiating, a deed back yourself. That said, there's no guarantee that you can successfully do that, especially if the system doesn't have that. But again, that is all you're paying an exit company for. You can do that on your behalf. You can type up posts on social media. You can send emails. You can send letters. Excuse me, all of those things you can do yourself for very, very little low cost. And in many cases, Westgate's a great example of Wyndham's another good example. Whereas if you engage an exit company, you actually hire an exit company to do that. Usually, you get a worse response and they will actually make a point to not work with you in terms of surrendering your timeshare, because you have engaged an exit company or hired an exit company to do that. So there's just no benefits to doing that. There's no financial benefits because it costs you a fortune. There's no exit benefits because all of the strategies that they use you can do yourself, and thus I can't. I would 100% never recommend a timeshare exit company, and I would urge people to who are considering using them to do a bit more research into their strategies, and if you are engaged with one, ask them some interesting questions. Ask them questions about that, and just kind of see the default canned avoiding responses that they get, very much like timeshare salesmen. If you were to ask about resale or renting, someone does. So there's certain questions that you ask that you just kind of that they're scripted to dodge instead of answer directly, and that should give you all the information that you need to make to feel comfortable about your decision moving forward. I like timeshares. I want to rent a timeshare through TUG. How do I avoid getting scammed by an owner? Is RCI a better option? It's a fantastic question. I want to rent a timeshare through TUG. It doesn't matter where you find a timeshare, whether it's TUG or eBay or a variety of other legitimate rental sites out there where owners will post their timeshares. We have a checklist on the TUG website on things you can do to verify a timeshare before you send any money. Those weed out the vast majority of scams that are out there, and not to say that they don't exist, because they do. There are active scams that target potential renters on every website. There's just no way. It doesn't matter whether it's timeshares or anything, Craigslist or stuff like that. The scams just exist. Facebook Marketplace, there are people out there actively trying to scam, and they're very convincing. Thus, we provided a checklist that will identify the vast majority of those scams, so that you can at least have a semblance of comfort before any money is sent. Almost all these verification procedures allow you to check things out before you send any money. That way, there's really no risk to you. And if the person doesn't want to go through that verification process, or thinks it's too cumbersome, that's fine. You just move on to another listing. That's the instances, where at least the recent instances, all the ones I can think of where people were scammed. They didn't do the verification. They admitted it later. They felt silly because they were allured by an extremely low rental price. And that's why these scams exist. You see a great resort for half what you would pay, and many cases people think it's worth the risk. Oh my goodness, I'm going to take this chance that this is legitimate, and I'm just going to ignore the fact that the reservation's not in the person's name I'm talking to, or that he asked me to pay to a different email address, or he asked me to send it through PayPal Friends and Family, or he asked me only to pay him through Venmo, or stuff like that, that eliminate any chance that you can get a refund. They're just certain, and the rental scammers aren't really looking to go through these elaborate schemes and jump through hoops. They're looking for low hanging fruit. So for someone who's actually trying to verify this stuff, they're just not going to bother dealing with you in most cases, unless it's just for an exorbitant amount of money they're trying to get a rental for. But they just move on. You get 50 people emailing you every day. You don't need all 50 to be a successful scammer. You only need a very small percentage, because the amount of effort you're putting forth is zero. So any money is good money, and so ignoring those basic verification steps, and we have them in the TUG advice section and in the marketplace. It's free and open to the public to read our verification guidelines and things you can do to check out a timeshare rental. Is RCI a better option? We can't really rent through RCI. They don't allow you to rent those exchanges. Perhaps you meant the discounted inventory, like the last call stuff, that super cheap, exchanges that are available to rent through RCI. 100%, those are fantastic. The problem is they're all usually very, very low demand weeks. One bedrooms or studios in Orlando, lower end resorts, just stuff that no one wants to exchange for, and so they try and monetize it by they're going to lose it anyway, and they've already made money off the exchange fee that the person paid to deposit it. So they're just looking to make a little bit more for to someone to go stay there before it goes completely unused. But that said, there's some amazing deals you can have in those RCI last calls, and Interval International offers a similar discounted, call them rentals, but technically they call them exchanges, because you're paying to exchange through those. But no, I mean, if you have access to RCI, if you're flexible in your where you want to go and the dates you want to go, you can find some absolutely incredible week-long rentals for next to nothing for those items there. I 100% consider that a viable option for our families looking to travel, or even single people looking to travel, because of the cost. It's just so cheap, down as low as $199 or something to that effect. That $200 for a week, even if it was at a lower end resort. If you were going to a destination, there's no way you get a hotel for that to stay for a week. I mean, I can't recall the last time I saw a hotel that was less than $100 a night. And just again, back to prices of everything have just gone through the roof. So yes, renting from an existing owner, thumbs up. Renting the RCI last calls and stuff, double thumbs up, because it's just so much cheaper. You're just limited. You just have to be much more flexible in terms of the quality of resort you're trying to stay at, and what's available. Just because that stuff is usually just on the lower end. I like renting. I want to try to rent timeshare in Asia and South America. I see online. I like Colombia and the Philippines. International timesharing good. The problem you run into is there's just very, very limited availability on timeshares internationally. You just the focus North America is really U.S. and Mexico are really I'd say the overwhelming majority of timeshares. So when you look at international stuff, not only do you have much less, again, unless you're talking about Mexico, which is all the hot Mexican locations have plenty of timeshares there, but uh, by and large, international, just that the availability isn't there. Just far less resorts, far less availability, and you usually find in most cases, the stuff you expect in today's modern timeshare, like full kitchens and multiple beds and baths. You might not find that in a lot of international resorts, especially in Europe and stuff like that. They're usually much smaller rooms, and not exactly the large sprawling uh, family resort that you come to expect here in the United States, especially through the major developers. You just can't really uh, should not expect that when you're traveling internationally, especially again outside of Mexico. There are certain massive resorts in hot international locations, but again, just the rule of thumb is time sharing is not. You'll never find the sort of selection or availability uh, international stuff than you will that you'll find inside of North America versus or U.S. and Mexico for lack of a better term. Buy a timeshare again. What do you recommend? Oh man, that's a tough question. We do have a post on the forums. Questions you should ask to narrow down what timeshare works for you. So I would suggest going to the TUG forums. Go to the newbie section, and you'll see a sticky right at the top. It says questions for new timeshare buyers, and there's 10 questions or so that you answer truthfully, and people will narrow down which timeshare systems will work out best. Because unfortunately, I have no idea what you're looking for in travel. I have no idea what your family status is or how much money you're looking to spend. So that question is so much different for each and every person that asks it. So that's why those questions exist. So it may not be able to tell you what timeshare is perfect for you, but it will definitely tell you, give you a list of ones that will work best for you and eliminate a number of ones that you don't even need to bother to research. And so that in itself is extremely valuable. So have a family of three. Well, fantastic. I hope you're able to use the TUG forums and do the research and find an absolutely amazing timeshare that you will buy from an existing TUG owner on the resale market and hopefully pay next to nothing for it. Because that is always a win-win when you get a timeshare essentially for free and you become the new owner of a timeshare, thus letting an existing timeshare owner pass on to the timeshare afterlife. This is my little whatever you want to call it when you end your timeshare lifetime. So don't see Disney. Well, Disney is definitely Disney is its own egg. There is a Disney forum on TUG, so you can research stuff on there if you want to go into. Disney is by and large the most expensive timeshare out there, and I mean it's usually an order of magnitude higher than just about everywhere out there in terms of buying that, but it keeps its value. Disney, I hate to compare Disney to anything else. It's just kind of such an outlier in terms of it's almost not even worth calling it a timeshare, just because it's just so much outside the norm of everything else, every other timeshare system out there. So no, you can absolutely research Disney on the Disney forum on TUG. There are a variety of other websites that are dedicated to Disney because there's some fanatical Disney people out there. Disney is truly one of a kind, and so I've stayed at a Disney resort, paid the exorbitant fee, nightly fee to stay there, rented the points from an existing owner. It just wasn't something that I was interested in purchasing owner wise. But man, paying $1,000 a night to stay in a resort is that takes something. It was nice to do once. I do get the appeal of being able to ride the monorail and go straight into the park and walk from the park back to your resort and stuff like that. And so my kids enjoyed it, but I'm not sure that for those nightly costs, I think I personally find more value in some other resorts and systems in Orlando, but we shall see. I certainly get the appeal there and why it's more expensive. For me, I personally don't see the value, but I can see why it is as expensive as it is. It provides uh, options and it provides features that you just can't get in any other timeshare, and it's the happiest place on earth. So who wouldn't want to pay out the nose to be happy, right? Can't put a price on happiness unless you're my kids, and then you can absolutely put a price on happiness. So does a timeshare ever make sense over Airbnb or VB? Yeah, absolutely. It's you're usually staying in a resort, in a family resort. And usually, where Airbnb and VRBO is incredibly popular because you're staying in a house, you're renting someone's house, but you're also staying in a house. You're not staying in a resort that caters families. You might be close or further away from stuff. You don't have the ability to call the front desk if there's a problem. You don't have activities. Yes, you're staying in a full home, and there's pros and cons to both. And by and large, you probably be cheaper to rent a timeshare, especially if you're going to a very large location like Orlando. But the one of the biggest things is the expectation when you show up that I'm sure everybody's got an Airbnb or VRBO uh, nightmare story where something didn't work, or something wasn't quite a little bit misleading in the VRBO ad, etc. And when you stay at a Marriott resort, you have a certain level of expectation that's almost always met, and room cleanliness and the overall niceness of the resort and activities, and maybe have an on-site grocery store, room service, or stuff like that. Just kind of sets it apart. But for every owner, if you're looking to go uh, stay on vacation and you're going with your family, I would certainly compare prices between staying at a timeshare resort and what you can rent on the resale market for versus going through renting an individual home. So there's pros and cons to both. But especially owning a timeshare, you can certainly leverage the benefits of owning a timeshare, especially if you buy resale, because you're so far ahead of the game, and making it much cheaper for lodging for you to stay on vacation. So absolutely. All right, we're in 90 minutes here, man. I can't believe so many of you have stayed on. 10 of you online. So State of Friends Blue Green, also Manhattan Club in NYC, using RCI a few timeshare every time. Surprise. 50 to Yeah, that's becoming charging resort fees when people show up. That's becoming a more common thing that didn't exist as a normal thing years ago. That's certainly a more new, but charging people who check in for exchanges, or charging people owners who do check in or rent those resort fees. That's just something kind of outside. Again, I think it's resorts way to kind of bridge the gap between additional expenses, as we talked earlier, from the cost of everything is going up, charging everyone a 50 or $100 fee, to sometimes a per night fee, just a way to add extra income, extra profit. I don't know if I call it profit, but the price of everything has gone up, and obviously they can't unilaterally raise maintenance fees, but once every year. And so someone somewhere thought it was a good idea to start charging daily fees, or check-in fees or stuff like that to exchangers or renters. And we're seeing that pop up more and more, just because it's pure profit for the resort to be able to do that. And then again, I don't see that money is going right into the manager's pocket, or it's not like Marriott is making a killing off $50 fees charged to exchange. It's not like RCI is making, because it's paid directly to the resort. This is just steps that companies are taking, or resorts are taking, in order to continue to be able to keep the lights on. And so you see many restaurants you go out where now that the tip is included by default, or there's a 3 to 5% surcharge for whatever they happen to. It's just everyone is finding new ways to just because the cost of everything has risen so much so rapidly that if you kind of nibble away at the thing to keep the lights on. I don't have any other better way to explain it, but the writing has been on the wall. It seems that those resort fees have become a popular way for resorts to further monetize the resort and owners, especially through exchanges like that. And I don't see that going away anytime soon, unfortunately. Mm. Hated they wish they told us in advance. They seem to hide it until after I rise. Yeah, it's obviously the downside is it's not something that so it's not like RCI charged it to you. It's the resort charged it to you on check-in. So usually they try to divulge that information. For me, I personally just have it when I used to travel for work, because I would always call the night before I checked in, or after I made a reservation, to ask certain questions like that. Hey, is there a nightly parking fee? Where am I going to park? Verifying my check-in date, and so on and so forth, like that. But yeah, not doing that. I would certainly expect them to divulge any mandatory fees to any potential exchanger or renter. But in many cases that doesn't happen, and it's certainly an unwelcome surprise. How does Red Week compare to Timon? Thank you very much. I appreciate you tuning in, and thank you very much. Again, I'm more than humbled that you guys are willing to listen to me ramble now for an hour and a half talking about timeshares. But it's something I'm very passionate about, something that I love to talk about. So I'm if I can get a dozen people like we've had tonight to chime in every Sunday night, I will do this every night because I truly enjoy it, and I'm glad I can interact and answer you guys' questions. How does Red Week compare to Tug? I never went through with Red Week. Well, Tug's awesome. So there's nothing wrong with Red Week. It's a fantastic site. You'll find that most Tug members are Red Week members, and most Red Week members know about Tug, and vice versa. It's I will say that the common theme is usually that people come to Tug to get information and advice and help about their timeshares and to learn about timeshare systems. And Red Week admittedly seems to have a lot more. Uh, if you're trying to rent, their marketplace seems to be very very popular. So I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to lie. Red Week has done a fantastic job in marketing their website to and marketing their marketplace, for lack of a better term. And obviously their fees are a bit more expensive. But if you have a premium rental or something that you truly are trying to sell versus give away. I wouldn't ever push anyone away from using Red Week. I don't think that they're a scam. I don't think that an owner could do far worse than finding Red Week and posting their timeshare there. I just consider Tug is far more economical in terms of listing your timeshare, especially when you're just trying to get rid of it. We have a free forum that it doesn't even cost you a dime if you're looking to give away your timeshare. So in that regard for owners, which is a very, very large percentage of owners who are just looking for help and a solution to get out. I find that TUG is far superior in that regard, especially, and not to mention the help and advice and information that you get on TUG completely free. We certainly set the bar and have done that for the past 30 years. So, and I don't expect that to change anytime soon. So glad I answered all your questions. So now a dozen beyond. Thank you so much for the likes and all the ability for you guys to sit here and listen to me, and maybe some of y'all are asleep. If so, I'm glad I could provide you with something to sit in the background to fall asleep to this night. And thank you very much for tuning in. Again, I'll try this most Sundays. Again, if I can get a dozen people or so and keep this going up. I will have this every single Sunday. Oh, one more question. How does the money move? I pay maintenance fees for X number of points. X if I charges me X number of points. How do they pay the resorts for the week I exchange into? They don't. I isn't paying the resort. If you're talking about, uh, once you deposit your week into Interval or RCI, or deposit your points, or however you're doing your exchange, you're paying the exchange company to deposit that. That reservation now belongs to RCI or II. So when they give that to someone else, when someone takes that out, they're paying to take that exchange out, and they're just given a guest certificate. And so basically you're just adding their information to the check-in. So that person is now going to go check in on your behalf. As you're the one who deposited that week. That's the arrangement that those resorts have with either RCI or II. Is they're expecting exchanges to happen. They're expecting owners to deposit their ownerships or into the exchange companies, and they're expecting other owners to take those exchanges out, and thus they will recognize an RCI or II exchange certificate as checking in just like anyone else. So it's not something you would have to worry about on that. So in terms of how different systems handle, I don't RCI, neither RCI or I care how much you pay in maintenance fees. So that's just a completely not something that comes into play at all. You are RCI and are completely separate from your ownership. They're memberships to a club. Is the best way to describe it. Even if you sold your timeshare, you could technically keep your RCI or II membership. They don't technically care if you own a timeshare. It's RCI and I make their money off the depositing and the taking out of exchanges out of the pools. They what is the exchange fee now, $285 or something like that to deposit, and the exchange fees continue to go up year in and year out, and multiplied by tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of owners, and it's a very lucrative business. But yeah, your maintenance fee does not come into play whatsoever in terms of RCI or what the fees are charged to the resort. The resort is paid by the maintenance fees of its owners. So whether or not the owners are staying there or the owners are depositing those into exchange companies, and vice versa, what you're trading for or trading into, it's just the underlying weeks. The maintenance fees are paid directly to the resort, not, and RCRI isn't involved there at all. Oh man, we still got 12 people on. That's it's crazy. So like the longer I talk, the more interesting I become. Says value. Do you have a Cash App or a YouTube donate button? No, we everything I provide. This stuff's free and open to the public. I don't ask for money or donations. Or if you want to join TUG, feel free. You can support the site with a TUG membership. But I vowed long ago that the TUG forums exist, and the advice articles exist, and my jibber jab exists to benefit timeshare owners. I don't don't want to get into the situation where I want to charge people for advice. And then if you're looking for help, and you probably already spent enough money in the timeshare industry, and so if you're looking for help to come on the TUG forums and or to read our advice articles, it will always be free, as long as I'm around anyway. So we hope that people find that information valuable enough to support the site with a membership, but I'll never make that a requirement. And so, and when people ask if they want to support the site, buying a TUG membership, you can, there should be it's $15 for a year. And you can earn free membership by submitting reviews or referring other people. So after your first payment of TUG membership, you technically don't ever have to pay again, and you can stay a TUG member for the rest of your life. I certainly appreciate the sentiment. Again, I do this to help timeshare owners. There's enough money extracted from timeshare owners that before they find TUG that I don't want to contribute to that. So thus I would rather give someone the information they're looking for and help them out, and then or give them a place that they can go to get that help. And if they find value in that, I hope that they either share that information with any other timeshare owner they encounter, or share it on Facebook or whatever. If they find someone else looking for help, to share what they got, leave a Google review, stuff like that, or you can support the site. But I will never require someone to pay to get the help that they need on TUG. All right. Any other last questions? And man, an hour and 45 minutes. That's crazy. I certainly I'm definitely we'll definitely chime this in for next Sunday at 8:30, and no technical difficulties next Sunday, since unless maybe I'll run out of USB ports by then. So if that's it, I'm gonna scroll back up and give away some free memberships there. And I certainly appreciate all y'all for chiming in. I can't thank you enough for wanting to listen to this, and getting the information that you guys, or maybe you just like to hear about timeshares. So I like to talk about it. I'm glad you guys like to listen to it. So until next time, folks, I do appreciate your time in, and thank you so much. And I will see you guys next Sunday at 8:30. Thank you very much again. I'm truly humbled that you guys tuned in and stayed this long for an hour and 45 minutes. Can't believe I've been talking for an hour and 45 minutes. I need a glass of water very, very much badly. So thank you again, and see you guys next week. Have a wonderful evening.